All right, everybody, welcome back. You ready to do another one of these deep dives?
I am, yeah. Always exciting to really get into the details of something interesting.
Absolutely. And I think we've got a really good one today. I was reading this really interesting article, or actually, it was an excerpt from an episode of this show called Coffee Talk,
Okay.
and it was fascinating. The episode was all about serotonin and how to boost your mood. How to feel happier.
Yeah.
And the title of the episode is actually "Boosting Serotonin: Natural Ways to Elevate Your Mood."
Nice.
And it really got me thinking because it was talking about all these things you can do naturally uh, to boost your mood, to really
Yeah.
feel happier.
Yeah.
And everyone wants that, right? Like, who doesn't want to feel happier?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I figured we'd do a deep dive into this episode, into this topic,
That's good.
and really unpack some of the science behind it. Look at all the different things that you can do to actually feel happier. So I guess to start with, maybe just for anybody who doesn't know, what is serotonin exactly?
Well, we always hear it as the happiness hormone.
Right.
Right. It's a little more nuanced than that.
Yeah.
But it's a neurotransmitter
Right.
that is responsible for carrying signals between nerve cells in the brain.
Right.
And it's involved in a whole range of functions, not just mood, but also things like sleep,
Uh-huh.
appetite, digestion, even cognitive functions like memory and learning.
Okay. Wow. So it's kind of a big deal then.
It is a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't have enough of it or if it's not functioning properly, it can lead to all kinds of problems.
Like what?
Mood disorders, anxiety, depression, sleep disturbances, even things like obsessive compulsive disorder.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. No, that's pretty serious stuff.
Absolutely.
So, okay, so we know it's important. We know that if you don't have enough of it or if it's not working properly, that it can cause some serious issues.
Right.
So the big question then is, how do we get more of it?
Right.
What did this Coffee Talk episode have to say? What can we do naturally to increase our serotonin levels?
Well, they actually highlighted 6 different key methods, and one of the things they talked about was the role of food in serotonin production.
Okay, so like what you eat actually affects how much serotonin your brain produces.
Absolutely, yeah. So serotonin is actually made in the brain.
Okay.
And in order to make it, the brain needs this amino acid called tryptophan.
Tryptophan.
Right, have you heard of it?
Yeah, vaguely. I think it's in Turkey or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's actually in a lot of different foods. So turkey is one, but also things like salmon, poultry, eggs, dairy products,
Okay.
all excellent sources of tryptophan.
Okay.
Even nuts and seeds, whole grains,
Right.
fruits like bananas and pineapple. So really, by eating a balanced and varied diet, you're giving your brain the building blocks it needs to make that serotonin.
Wow, okay. So it's like you're giving your brain the fuel to be happy.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it.
So food is one thing. What else did they mention?
Well, they also talked about the impact of exercise.
Yeah.
And this isn't just about those feel-good endorphins that we always hear about.
Right. Although I do love a good runner's high.
Yeah, absolutely.
But is there something else going on with exercise?
Yeah, there actually is. When you exercise, your body actually increases the production of serotonin,
Really?
and it also helps to release that serotonin into your system, so you're getting a double benefit.
Wow, a 1-2 punch. Okay, so food and exercise, what else can we do?
The next one they talked about was sunlight.
Okay, how does that play into it?
Well, you know how even on a cloudy day, stepping outside can just make you feel a little bit brighter?
Right.
Well, it turns out that sunlight actually helps your body to produce serotonin. So even just 15 to 30 minutes a day of sunlight exposure can make a noticeable difference.
Wow, even just 15 to 30 minutes.
That's all it takes.
Okay. Now, this next one that they mentioned, I have to admit, sometimes it feels a little bit cliche to me, but they talked about mindfulness.
Nope.
I mean, yeah, it sounds great, but how does that actually boost your serotonin?
I know what you mean. It can seem kind of vague, but there's actually a really interesting scientific connection.
Okay.
So stress is a major serotonin depleter.
Oh, really?
When you're stressed, your body releases hormones like cortisol, and those hormones can interfere with the production of serotonin.
Ah, I see.
So by practicing mindfulness, whether it's meditation, deep breathing exercises, anything that helps you manage stress, you can actually help your serotonin levels to rebound.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
So it's less about adding something new and more about getting rid of the things that are messing with your serotonin in the first place.
exactly.
Okay, cool. So what else did Coffee Talk recommend?
Well, sleep was another big one that they talked about.
Sleep. Yeah, okay. How does that play into it?
Well, you know how if you have a bad night's sleep, your whole day can just be thrown off.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It turns out that during sleep, our bodies are busy regulating a whole host of different hormones, including serotonin. So when you don't get enough sleep, those serotonin levels can really take a hit.
Yeah, I'm definitely not my best self after a night of tossing and turning.
Exactly. And Coffee Talk actually gave some really great tips for improving sleep. Things like sticking to a consistent sleep schedule, creating a calming bedtime routine, and avoiding screens before bed.
Okay, that's good advice. Anything else from this episode that stood out?
Yeah, the last one that they touched on was the power of connection. And this is about spending time with loved ones, engaging in activities that you find meaningful. All of these things can actually trigger the release of serotonin.
Really?
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought of it that way. But I mean,
Yeah.
social interaction, it does tend to make people feel happy, right?
Yeah,
So I guess we can link that back to serotonin now.
exactly.
That's interesting. So to recap, we've got these 6 amazing natural ways to boost serotonin: food, exercise, sunlight, mindfulness, sleep, and connection.
That's right. What's fascinating to me is this. Could consciously focusing on several of these methods at once
Uh-huh.
actually create like a synergistic effect?
Oh, interesting.
It's not something that the episode explicitly explored, but it's definitely food for thought, don't you think?
Absolutely. So why don't you pick one of these areas this week
Yeah.
and really focus on incorporating it more into your daily routine?
Yeah.
Maybe you try that new tryptophan-rich recipe, or you commit to getting a few extra minutes of sunlight each day.
Right.
You might be surprised at the difference it makes.
You never know.